Hey, it's the Scotch Test Dummies, and we're coming with Lynchburg, Tennessee, old number, what number?
Number 7.
Old number 7.
Now wait a minute. You're going to sit there looking me in the eye.
Boom.
Tell me we've done 175 whiskey reviews, 176,
Right.
and we haven't done Jack Daniels?
We haven't. It's like the number one seller in the whole world.
Ooh. Let's test it.
Test it. We're not doing that though. We're
I
not
know.
doing
I
that.
just
Yeah,
said it.
yeah. You're just talking, but you kicked me in. It was like Pavlov's dog there, man. I was about ready to scream out, test it. Now here's the deal. Coming into this, I got to admit, I'd kind of overlooked it because way back in my, when I was 24, I had a buddy that whatever party we had, he had Jack and Coke. And he was just doing this, and I remember thinking, wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, and that was even my reference, and I hadn't had, since we'd been drinking Scotch and whiskeys and tasting them, I haven't had Jack Daniels straight.
Right.
And the only reference I really have with it is Jack and Coke.
Right.
In a red Solo cup.
I think my buddy always had a tumbler. He was way ahead of his times. He was an Air Force guy. I was in the Army, and he always had a little...
Did he buy you that pink hat? Or is that your wife's?
What are you talking about?
Is that your wife's?
I don't care about color. I just wear
Yeah, you do.
Bruno should have worn it. Bruno had this pink Bronco cup.
Yeah.
No, you just had a pink cup. I'm like, why you got a pink cup? And you're like, who cares? It's
I got a
cup.
pink Broncos cup too for breast cancer.
Yeah, right. That's good. So I figured I'd put on this. My wife got this in Pittsburgh, Kansas. I thought it went well with the leaves on my shirt.
Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Sorry. Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Sorry, not Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Well, there is a Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Yeah, there is a Peaburg. Also.
Yeah. There's a couple of Peaburgs.
There is a couple of Peaburgs. So, back on this. That was my reference. I'd heard, I think on Mark Gillespie's show, I had heard him talk about, I knew that Tennessee whiskey, the big difference is it's charcoal filtered. Mm-hmm. So they literally pour the whiskey, they filter it through the charcoal, and that gives it a different style, a different taste.
For it to be called a Tennessee whiskey, I think it abides by all the rules of bourbon, right?
Oh boy, see, I couldn't even say that.
It's got to be 51% corn, has to be at least 2 years of age.
I believe so. That's
and
all
aged in new oaks.
I believe that's true as well.
But then with Tennessee whiskey, it has to be charcoal filtered.
Boom, it's got an extra finishing thing.
Yep.
I kind of whistled through my teeth there. I don't know if that came out. It kind of came through. So, nose, what are you getting?
And I noticed when we sat down to film, I did not take notes on this.
Right. Actually, neither of us had notes on it. But I will tell you, I get a sweetness on it.
Yes.
A candied, sugary sweetness, almost like not the taste of cotton candy, but when you're at the fair and they're spooling it around and it's going out and it's doing its little cottony thing, but as they're winding it, I kind of get that level of sweetness that's in the air.
It actually kind of reminds me of Runts.
Huh.
Like
I love runts.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
about banana.
Oh, yeah.
Think banana runts.
I love a banana runt with the heart-shaped strawberry runt. That's my favorite. I combo them. I make little combos. Huh. I hadn't thought of runts. I do see what you're saying, though. You're right. It's got a little bit of that runt. It's almost the nose is a runt flavor when it's in the mouth. Huh. Interesting.
Now, I was surprised by this when I had it. A few weeks ago, you gave it to me to test.
I was shocked.
It's much better than I had expected neat.
Extremely flavorful neat. I expected... All right, Johnny Walker Red. Harsh, strong alcohol bites you, and I've got buddies that tried that as their first and only Scotch, and then they say, I don't drink Scotch. I was ruined. Johnny Walker Red. It's just not as refined. I was expecting this to not be as refined.
Yes, me too.
Wrong. Completely wrong.
Now, there's also a slight bit of that charcoal filtering you can get. It's not as heavy as the George Dickel Barrel Select. I don't think it's as heavy as the Gentleman Jack, which we haven't reviewed yet.
Right.
And I think the Gentleman Jack is either double or triple charcoal filtered.
Wow. This is, you're right, it almost, And it has this underlying sweetness that is just delicious. And smooth. There's not a lot of bite or kick to it.
Yeah. Why do people add Coke to this?
Yeah, I'm with you. But I gotta say, when I thought back in time, I think I sipped a little bit of my buddy's Jack and Coke, and it seemed harsh at the time, but I think it might have been the gosh darn cola that was in it.
Well, it depends on how strong they make it. I remember I used to drink Jack and Cokes, though, too. Never, when I was younger, and you had to have the sweet. They say as you get older, you don't need the sweet.
Oh, that's
you
flat
transition
out true.
away. I mean, when you're young, you drink sweet drinks. A lot of people put sugar in their coffee.
Wedding cake. I wanted the edge piece with the most amount of that buttercream. Ugh.
Oh, I still do.
I remember thinking, how do the old people carve that off? And I'd be like, Mom, can I have your plate? Yeah, and it's pure sugar.
Yeah.
And now I'm the carver. I don't like that. I want the whipped cream topping. It's a little less. That buttercream top. Yeah.
But as you get older, you don't need sugar in your coffee. You don't need the sweetened drinks.
No.
You don't need the Fireball whiskey.
Yeah.
You don't need the Coke in your whiskey.
No.
So
I am telling you, I'm on board why this is the leading top selling whiskey in the world. For their hey, an old number 7, this is our main brand, this is it, this is our standard.
Millions of bottles a year sold.
Boom. Yeah.
And fact is, I think they have, because I toured the Jack Daniel's distillery, I think they have 1 million casks aging in their warehouses.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got more than that, but that it would be a lot. Neat, delicious. Delicious. I mean, I was blown away. Value for your dollar right here. Easily. I want a daily drinker. Phenomenal. Because, again, the flavor profile. Sweetness throughout. You're right, that little hint of it. It's got a caramel nectar finish. Caramel nectar finish. I didn't say flan. This is like, to me, the caramel that you drizzle out on your vanilla bean ice cream. And it's got that kind of caramel, and the nectar, I'm just saying, because of that sweetness, that little sweetness that's in there. And you're right, there's a little hint of something else, which I know you're saying is it a charcoal flavor? Do you pick that up? I don't know if you picked up a charcoal flavor.
I think so.
I'm going to echo your 89.
Yeah.
And I was stunned.
If you haven't tried Jack Daniel's for a while, if you only remember mixing it in Coke when you were younger, give it a try. Don't be afraid, because it's $19.95 a bottle. Which brings up our "Is it worth it?" segment.
Right. Boom. You're throwing in some graphic right here?
Maybe. Just said, is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
Boom. Shakes or something.
Yeah.
See, that sounds like a lot of work in post. That sounds like a lot of work. Okay, so.
Yes.
Totally.
It's worth it.
Completely. Are there things more complex out there? Yes. Is this something where if you are saying, you know what, I just want a little ounce or two today. I got home from work. Boom. I will come down here, look at everything back here and go, yes. I've even come down and almost leaned toward it, and I thought, I need to test some bottles that you loaned me. And I'm almost like, I could have just gone with an old number 7. But I'm going to be trying something else just because we have to with the testing. So, my opinion, you need a bottle of this on your shelf. I've got a half gallon of Wild Turkey, I got a half gallon of Teachers, and I got a half gallon of Old Number 7.
And we did point out 40% ABV. If you know, I just added barely a drop of water to it.
Yeah. And
so, which you don't even need. Is very good neat.
No, like I said, I expected something that was going to be harsh on the palate and rough all the way down. No. Is it worth it? Yes.
Yes.
All right. Scotch it, you Scotch gods.
Solancha. Dummies.